Hello juniors, this is 5 things in 5 minutes about Take the Tortillas out of your poetry. Rodolfo Anaya is a Chicano writer and poet born in New Mexico and best known for his novel Bless Me Ultima. In this essay, he first talks about the influence of Indian writer Salman Rushdie. The tradition of kissing books is one I think we should all adopt, by the way, but this image shows us the reverence and respect both Rushdie and Anaya have for the written word. They are on the same level with food, something we need for survival. Most writers believe they have one job: write truth. That doesn't necessarily mean only write nonfiction, but write about human truth. Part of that is writing the way they see the world. Anaya, for instance, is bilingual. That's a big part of how he sees the world. His friend he mentions in the text said, "My best poetry is bilingual. It reflects our reality. It's the way we speak, the way we are." Anaya calls censorship insidious or evil. He said, "For me, reading has always been a path toward liberation and fulfillment. To learn to read is to start down the road to liberation. It is a road that should be accessible to everyone. No one has the right to keep you from reading, and yet that is what is happening in many areas in our country today. There are those who think they know best what we should read. And sometimes the biggest censor is us. We can be self-censors like Anaya's friend, believing that to get his writer's fellowship, he had to remove truth from his poems." The main idea is the most important point an author makes about a topic. It answers the question, what's it all about? Sometimes, in informational texts like this one, you can find the answer in the title, or a section heading. Other times, you'll just need to look at the supporting details of the piece and see what it is they're trying to support. Titles can be an important starting point to discovering the theme or main idea of a text. Right away from this title, we find out a few things. 1. It is probably going to be about poetry and other forms of writing. 2. The word tortilla introduces the idea of Mexican food and makes the reader wonder how it can be involved in poetry. In the end, Anaya tells us what the title means when he said, "My friend had concluded that if he took his language and culture out of his poetry, he stood a better chance of receiving a fellowship. He took out his native language, the rich mixture of Spanish, English, Pacheco, and street talk that we know so well. In other words, he took the tortillas out of his poetry, which is to say, he took the soul out of his poetry." So this has been 5 things in 5 minutes about Take the Tortillas out of your poetry. I hope that helps you to answer the questions. If you have any concerns or further questions, go ahead and put them in the comments section and I'll be sure to take a look. Thanks, and we'll see you next week.